Girivaradari Yasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavihari. Shri Panchtapa ki jai. Jai Om Vishnu Paramahamsa Pavracharya Astasutha Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnu Paramahamsa Pavracharya Astasutha Srimad His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Ramshi Thakur Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasti Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shri Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shri Mayapur Dham ki jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Vriha Midanga ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Samadhita Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitya Gaura Brahmanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Good morning, everybody. Hari. I'm going to read the continuation of the second verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, first chapter, first canto. Would you like to read the translation of the verse? Just the verses about here's the next. In this Bhagavat Paranam, all so-called religious activities covered by fruitative intentions are completely rejected, and the highest truth, understandable by the 100% pure-hearted devotees, is inculcated. The highest truth is the factual reality distinguished from the shadow, is distinguished herein for everyone's well-being, and causing uprooting of the threefold miseries. The beautiful Bhagavatam is compiled by the great sage Sri Vyasadeva in his mature stage, and as such, what is the need of other scripture for self-realization? As soon as a person applies his attentive and submissive oral reception to the messages of this Bhagavatam, the Supreme Lord at once becomes fixed up compact by such culture of knowledge. In the lower stage of human civilization, there is always a competition of lording it over the material nature, or in other words, there is a continuous rivalry for satisfying the senses. And driven by this consciousness of sense gratification, religiosity is performed. Pious activities or religious functions are performed with an aim, generally for the purpose of some material gain. If such material gain is obtainable otherwise, then even the so-called religiosity is neglected, as we can see in the modern setup of human civilization. The economic conditions being seemingly fulfilled, otherwise nobody is interested in religion now. The church, mosque, or the temple all are now practically vacant places, and they are more interested in factories, shops, and cinemas than the religious places formerly erected by the forefathers of different paths of religiosities. This proves definitely that religiosity is performed for economic development, and economic development is needed for sense gratification. And when one is baffled in the matter of sense gratification, he takes to the cause of salvation in order to become one with the supreme whole. Therefore, all these stages are different types of the same aim of life, namely, sense gratification. In the Vedas, the above-mentioned four activities are prescribed in a regulative way so that they may not be in any undue competition for the purpose of sense gratification. But Srimad Bhagavatam is transcendental to all these sense-gratifactory activities of the material world. It is purely transcendental literature understandable by a particular class of men known by the name of devotees of the Lord, who are above the competitive field of sense gratification. In the material world, there is keen competition between the animal to animal, man to man, community to community, or even nation to nation for their sense gratificatory activities, but the devotees of the Lord are above them. They have nothing to compete with the materialist because they are on the path of back to Godhead, where there is everything eternal, full and blissful. Such transcendentalists are 100% non-envious and therefore pure in heart. In the material world, everyone is envious of everyone, and therefore there is competition. But the transcendentalists, or devotees of the Lord, are not only freed from all material enviousness, but also they are on the contrary kind to everyone for endeavoring in the matter of establishing a competitionless society with God in the center. The socialistic idea of society is artificially competitionless, because even in the socialistic state, the competition is for the post of dictatorship. The fact is, therefore, that the state of sense gratification is the order of materialistic life. Take it either from the Vedas or from common human activities. As mentioned above, there are three divisions of the Vedas, namely the stage of fruitative activities as to get promotion in the field of better planets like the heaven, etc. And above this, there is the activities of worshipping different demigods with the same intention of getting promotion in the different planets of the different types of demigods. And lastly, the activities of reaching the absolute truth in his impersonal feature to become one with him. Impersonal feature of the absolute truth is not the last word. Above the impersonal feature, there is the Paramatma feature, and above it, there is the personal feature of the absolute truth. Srimad Bhagavatam gives us the information of the absolute truth in his personal feature above the impersonal feature. It is therefore more than the topic of impersonal philosophical speculations, and as such, Srimad Bhagavatam is placed on the highest status in the Jnana-kanda division of the Vedas. It is higher than the Kama-kanda division as well as the Jnana-kanda division, and more than that, it is above the Jnana-kanda division. Jnana-kanda division, and more than that, it is above the Upashana-kanda division, because Srimad Bhagavatam recommends the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, the Divine Son of Vasudeva. In the Kama-kanda division of the Vedas, there is competition of supremacy in the matter of reaching the heavenly planets for better sense gratification, and the same competition is there in the Jnana-kanda, so differently now, Jnana-kanda or Upashana-kandas. But Srimad Bhagavatam is above all of them because it aims at the supreme truth, the substance or the root of all categories. In other words, it may be taken from the Srimad Bhagavatam we can know the substance as well as the relativities in the true sense and perspective. The substance is the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead, and all emanations from him are relativities in different forms of energies. The living entities are also relative energies of the substance. The substance is related with all different types of his energies, and therefore nothing is different from the substance, but at the same time the energies are different from the substance. The conception is not self-contradictory. Srimad Bhagavatam explicitly deals on this simultaneously, and one and differential philosophy of the Vedanta Sutra, which begins with the Janma Dhyasaya Sutra.
I was born in darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master is divine grace. I see Bhakti don't sign for God, come and open my Bhakti lives for the first out of knowledge. All from my humble obeisances. Please, Lord.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
And so in the beginning, Prabhupada was mentioning this, the reason why the religious, the different types of religion, they're cheating because they're trying to adjust to the material conditions. They're not trying to help people spiritually. They're trying to, how does it call them? Like bribe. Yeah, they're trying to bribe the general mass just so they come to the church, to the mosque, to the synagogue, to the temple, and ask from God the bread, the wife, the money, the everything. So no wonder, like Prabhupada says, no wonder that people are turning atheists because they see practically that why should I go and beg from God? I can go and get a nice job and be my own God, make my own fortune. It is so actually. Man is an architect of his fortune, as they say. So it's another reason why we should not approach God for this materialistic desires. Because ultimately we are in charge of them, just like we came here on our own accord. So we too we enjoy suffer because of our own concocted ideas. And Hare Krishna Krishnanak. So God realization is not like Papa says, bread realization or different things. And okay, that was the point. That why people are giving up these religious systems, because they can see why should I approach God? They were very much, they were very, they were not very sure about the existence of God, because in all the different scriptures, there's no concrete idea about God, how He looks like, where you can find Him, how you can get in touch with Him. So when all the things that God supposedly gives us, are already fulfilled by some other process, they give it up. Prabhupada gives this famous example with the communists. I don't know if you heard about it, maybe you remember. But the communists, they made a deficit, you call it?
Deficit?
Deficit in Soviet Union. And they would come to the villages and they would ask, so is God giving you your daily bread? Because you pay for the bread. And the villagers, they would say, no, Mr. Communist, no bread. God is not supplying any bread. And the communists will reply, oh, you want any bread? And he said, yes, we're hungry, we want bread. So they opened the trucks and there were tons of bread from nowhere, so-called. And the villagers, they were very happy. And the communists said, well, you see, your God is, there is no such thing as God. It's all just illusion. We give you bread. You worship us. But the villagers, because they're foolish, they're simple-minded, they don't understand. Where did the communists got the grains, the flour to make the bread in their factory? Or where did they get the brains to develop that, to cultivate and so on? So, because people, they're foolish. It is indeed so. They're foolish. They don't understand where is that money coming from, to build a skyscraper, or where is their boss getting their money to pay them. They think, oh, the boss is the cause of all causes. They actually make their boss, the government, make them God. You know? And that's why ultimately all these different social structures, like Prabhupada explains further, ends up in dictatorship. The people competing for who's going to dictate over the state, over society. Because ultimately leader there must be. Leader is one. Dictatorship, there must be dictatorship. But when God is the dictator, it's not an autocracy. There's a difference between autocracy and rule of a just king, you know, who dictates. You do like this, you do like that. If the king is just, if the leader is just, then the society is benefited. Why? Because it treats the man of the country, the man of the society, as his children. He's not usurping their hard labor, the resources that God sent for his sense gratification. You know, just like we read in the evening the Bhagavad Gita, the fight of the Bhagavad Gita happened not because Arjuna wanted to enjoy the property, but the opposite. He wanted to establish the right ruler over the land, the world, Maharaj Yudhishthira. Nowadays they fight, but all the reasons that they fight for are simply economical reasons. For economical reasons, there's no need to fight, because by your karma, you're obliged to enjoy or suffer. You know? Just like you have the northern hemisphere, the northern countries. Right? Materially speaking, right, there's nothing there. There's only Iceland. Only ice.
That's actually green. Greenland is the Iceland.
Greenland. You cannot grow anything. You know, who can live there? You know, cold. You know, or Canada. You know, or some parts of the United States, Alaska. But people are very materially prosperous. They're very happy. They even made this. You know, they made the statistics of the happiness of the people. And in Finland, I think they were the happiest or something like that. But materially speaking, you can see that it's all snow and very, very difficult conditions. And you go to the Dominican Republic or Jamaica, you know, and people shooting each other. You know, I have relatives who live in Jacksonville, and you know, people walk with guns. You know, you have to go. If you're white, you have to have your security, you know, security guard. So materially speaking, they should be very prosperous, but geographically speaking, right? They have papayas growing outside, avocados. You know, you go, you pluck an avocado on the street if you're hungry, but people are killing each other. You know? So this is the result of the mismanagement of the leaders. So the Krishna conscious movement wants to upbring these leaders of society, educate them how to do good, how to benefit the people in general, regardless of their religious belief, non-religious, whatever they do, eat or whatever. If the leadership is acquainted, at least to a certain extent, with the principles of Krishna consciousness, they appreciate the chanting, they take the practice themselves to a certain extent, or they just read Prabhupada's books, you know, or just they have Prabhupada's books in the library. The world is going to change, you know, completely. It's going to be such a big change. So, yeah, Prabhupada wrote all these books, especially this first canto. We study it thoroughly, we can learn how to present this to the leaders in society. And they're going to make the world a better place. You know, regular people nowadays, you know, they just want to eat something, sleep, have sex with someone, and have intoxication. They're not interested. You can see people are busy. The whole day is busy. Or when they have to smoke ganja, or when they have to go to intoxicate themselves in another way, they have all the time in the world. But to hear about the mission of the human form of life, I don't have time. I'm sorry. So we have to approach people who know how to utilize their time, because no one has time. You know, who has time? You cannot have the time. Time is Krishna. But if you set up your priorities that this life, I want to finish the cycle of birth, age, birth, old age, disease, and death, Krishna is going to allow you to make time for the real important things. So there was another thing, very interesting, that we want to establish society without enviousness, competitionless society, without any competition. This is actually the no gambling principle. Why we follow this no gambling? Because gambling, when there is a prize or something, it creates this competition mentality. And people, they're going to kill each other even for that. It's very scientific, there's 4 regulative principles. If the government, of course the government cannot force people now to stop the sinful activities, they're going to rebel, but they should stop the propagation of the sinful activities. They should not allow people to propagate, the illicit sex, the gambling, If they want to do, go on your own accord. Like these sinful activities, they're here in the material world. It's always there. These vices, 4 vices. But for example, and Prophet speaks about even his own times that if someone wanted to enjoy illicit sex life, no problem, he would go and enjoy, but he would have to pay a lot of money. Because the prostitutes, they would live in palaces and they would charge gold coins. They would not, charge in, what do they use now? Tinder?
Yeah, it's free.
So, intoxication, too, very, very expensive. The common man will not be able to indulge in sinful activities simply because it will be expensive. Why we want to establish, this is another mission of the Hare Krishna movement. We want to re-establish the gold currency. Why it's so important? Because the politicians, they're selling you this money in exchange for your time, hard labor, and the money actually has no price, has no value. You work hard, and the harder you work, there's inflation. You need to work harder and harder, and it's actually predicted in the 12th canto that when the Kali Yuga advances, the more the Kali Yuga advances, it will be hard to even maintain a family, which is already happening. It will be hard to get food for your own self, people will have to work so hard just to eat, have something to eat. So our position is really, really degrading, less than animals, like we spoke about 2 classes before. We're becoming less than animals. Because even the animals, as soon as they're born, they have a mate. They have the she duck, she swan. They have something to eat. They have shelter. And they don't even have to work. So even they're more than us, But they made a situation like this that it's impractical even to be a human being. So it's predicted that in the Kali Yuga, everyone's going to run to the forest and simply sustain on raw honey, meat, and different plants. So we want to bring it back to the civilized Vedic society, introducing the gold currency, for example, taking away this nonsense money. People will help, and they will ask, well, how people will buy clothing, buy this, but they'll be bartering. Why do they need to buy clothing? You need clothing, you supply it by your employee, or you supply it by the government. The government actually should take care of these 3 essential things: clothing, shelter, and food. Everyone should be fed up. Everyone should be fed sumptuously. Everyone should have shelter, and everyone should have something to wear. Not that now they're giving everyone money, and you have Louis Vuitton that charges $800 for a pair of underwear or something crazy like that. And people, they're brainwashed. They think they need that to have a status in society. So immediately, if you introduce the gold currency, all these things are going to be dismantled. Gradually, we work how to present this to the leaders, and when the leaders, like now, Tulsi Gabbard, right? She wants to be the president, So there are going to be many opportunities like that to broadcast Krishna consciousness. And slowly, Lord Chaitanya's moon is going to rise completely. We're now just in the beginning of Lord Chaitanya's mission. and the world going to be such a Vaikuntha place that almost everyone is going to go back home to God. It's predicted. Any questions?
Yeah, you can see practically the economic system that we have. Every country goes through all the big countries, they go through an inflation period and then they crash. They reach a certain point, a crucial point, and then they crash. All the main countries. It's very practical. You can see. You need to re-establish the goal. But I had a question about this: people engaging in religion for sense gratification. What about these very sincere, apparently sincere people involved in religion? Like in South America, you can see people are very devoted.
Oh yeah, Prabhupada speaks about it here. That the next generations, they leave it because they understand why should I practice materialistic religion.
What about monks and stuff who kind of give up sense gratification and don't go for the money? They live a renunciate life. There's many thousands of these apparently very sincere.
If they don't have a concrete idea of God and soul, it doesn't matter what they are. The next generation is going to go back to materialism. That's what Prabhupada speaks in the verse, that because there is no explanation why there should be worship, why this temple should be maintained, why the temples are vacant. Only old people, they go there for some social life. No one cares for them on the street. Where are these monks? I don't see these monks sitting in a cave or in a temple. We go outside. I went to so many cities. I never met any monks. I was in Montreal for so many years. I was the only person outside on the street. Only monk. Why? Because the monks themselves, they understand, well, why should I be a monk? Let me get a wife and just live peacefully, without this botheration, spiritual life. Let me go work, get the money one way or another, and I'm going to enjoy. So there are no real monks, real religionists, unless they come to the understanding of what is Krishna consciousness, what is God, what is the purpose. They might make a show, but it will be tested by the next generation. The next generation is not taking it up. It's the failure of the parents. They themselves, they are not serious. Just like happened in the Hare Krishna movement, right? There are so many devotees, and where are they now? All their kids, they want to kick Krishna out of their life. I've seen this documentary, Where Are the Hare Krishnas? And everyone on the streets, they ask, where are the Hare Krishnas? Where are the Hare Krishnas?
We actually get quite a lot of that when we're out preaching. People say, you guys are back.
All around the world, even in Israel. But there was no Hare Krishna, practically no Hare Krishnas there. Still, they're looking, they're surprised. What are you doing here? Back.
We're archaic.
So it's the failure of the practitioners. They could not grasp what is Krishna consciousness. The Prabhupada says, without reading, without understanding the philosophy, this sentimental Hare Krishna, Hare Rama chanting will not last. It will be finished very quickly. And if not your generation, the next generation. Hare Krishna. When will the golden period come when everyone will be devotee and everyone will chant Hare Krishna? Well, we just, in the beginning, 500 years since Lord Chaitanya started the golden age of Kali Yuga, and we have 9,500 more years to go. So if you look at that, at least I personally look at that as the rising moon. The moon is going to rise completely, in the middle of that period? So that would happen in like 4,000 years, maybe? That would be completely like a boom.
We need some cryogenic freezing.
Sorry?
We need some cryogenic freezing so we can last till then.
What is cryogenic freezing?
That's when you save your body, apparently.
That's another nonsense. There is a conversation like that. They speak about this news.
Mm.
And he throws himself at the top of time and the top of he laughed and such a fool. He died, he's better than
Mm-hmm. Time is up.
So because of these misconceptions, people are committing suicide and they're gonna miss this golden period. Anything else? Would you like to say something?
Yeah, as devotees, if the moon is going to rise anyway, why are we working so hard?
Oh, like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, do your duty, you execute. I already done everything, but it doesn't mean that Krishna never said to Arjuna, you don't do anything, you just sit and wait. No, you have to go and work. You have to work on our, if we're not ready, like, okay, there are going to be many people who are going to go back to Godhead, but there are going to be many people who will not go back to Godhead too. They're innumerable living entities, Yeah. So many will go, many too will not go. So if you don't want to be in the section that will not go,
you
have to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a very auspicious time, a very favorable time. It's already a very favorable time. I mean, look at us. We can sit and read the whole day. Theoretically, we should be already self-realized and just leave the body and go back home to Godhead. But we have to do the work. We have to purify.
And how do you
purify? Spiritual
purify?
master is there, but he's not just fooling you like this. You have to do the work. Because what is happening in the spiritual world? You serve Krishna out of love. Love means free will. And with free will, no one's going to give it to, no one's going to force you to love Krishna. You have to develop that love yourself. You have to find that love. But if you don't want to, you're going to stay here. Why should Krishna take you by force? You came here by force. He doesn't need more problems. Arguing with you there again. The innumerable living entities, they fall down on this and every moment. There's enough of that. Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Tagora Premanande, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, thank you so much for watching. Happy Ekadashi. For whoever followed, whoever doesn't follow, chant some extra rounds, eat some extra prasadam. I will see you all later in the evening. Hari Bol.